spiritual wars that begin everything that American troops have done in Iraq, all the fighting, all the dying, the bleeding, the building, the training, the partnering, all of it has led to this moment of success.
Better than tyranny, corruption, and torture chambers. You deserve to live as free people, and I assure every citizen of Iraq, your nation will soon be free.
Yo, U.S.A. Yeah. Let me holler at you for a second, bro. You remember me? Yeah. When I used to rule the world. Until you put me in this motherfucking shithole. But it's all good. I forgive you, U.S.A. But I've been hearing some crazy stuff, man. And you've been polluting the sea. You've been polluting the air. You've been polluting the water. All the animals are crying out against you, U.S.A. Most High ain't happy with your ass. I just gotta tell you, when I get out of this place, when the Most High come back, I'm gonna chew your ass, U.S.A. Your ass is gonna be mine. Believe that.
Hello, I am Priest of the Most High, Lucifer D. Lambew, and you are watching the Lampshade's current events, end of days. The world is changing, O Israel. Freakish weather conditions, super tornadoes, typhoons, tsunamis, record-breaking flash floods, droughts, famine, pestilence, and hunger. In addition, we face global instability, financial crisis, the fall of the U.S. dollar, civil unrest, a police state, the RFID chip, aka the mark of the beast, leading up to World War III. One world currency, one world religion, one world government, aka the New World Order. And did I mention aliens, bruh? The Lampshade's Blood Moon Saga complete series has ended. But it's done. You can go back at any time and watch all 7 seasons. Check out our journey from when we were, coon Christian pastors, and I was chained to finding out the truth and knowing that we were Israelites from the tribe of Judah, finding out who the real God was and is and will always be. And that's Yah and his son, Yeshua HaMashiach. 7 seasons come and gone. But make sure, because you don't know when the internet's going to go down. You don't know when any of the calamities that are coming that will come to pass. Will make viewing the internet, will make viewing websites and things that you are used to seeing online no longer accessible. Hello. This is breaking news. Breaking news. We're at war. News footage. We're going to talk to you today about this news footage that shows that torture is happening in America today, every day. I mean, like now. Torture. We're gonna go ahead and just roll the tape and have all give you the opportunity to weigh in on it. All right, bros. Again, today we're gonna be talking about that, and we're gonna be talking about that primarily for this telecast.
Over to the U.S., the city of Chicago is putting to rest one of its darkest moments, police torture. Mayor Rahm Emanuel announced this week it's proposing a $5.5 million reparation for those who were subject to torture by the Chicago PD between 1972 and 1991. The officers used harsh techniques to elicit confessions from mostly African-American suspects. The treatment by officers came under former police commander John Byrd, who was fired by Chicago police back in 1993. He was recently released from prison after serving less than 4 years. More than 100 people are eligible for this compensation, which includes money, job training, and counseling. I'm now joined by Flint Taylor, who's one of the lawyers for the victims of the torture cases and has been involved in the efforts to bring reparations to many of those survivors. Mr. Taylor, thanks so much for being with us today. You've long pushed for these reparations, and some are questioning whether the $5.5 million is going to be enough, because there may be more people who might be coming out of the woodwork now. Do you think there might be more people out there, and is this dollar amount actually enough?
Well, the entire package is much more than $5.5 million. There's a lot of non-financial benefits that will go along with the reparations, which are truly historic, including free education at the community colleges or the city colleges here in the city of Chicago, psychological and other services for the men. The city's going to pay for that as well. There's going to be a memorial for the torture survivors here in the city of Chicago. There's going to be a complete official apology and job training and other important aspects to this that are non-compensatory in the financial sense. As well, the $5.5 million is hopefully enough to cover and to offer each person around $100,000, which we know is not enough to compensate for torture, but on the other hand, no amount is, and this will certainly help a lot of the people, a lot of the men who are on the streets here in the city of Chicago who have received nothing, whereas John Burge continues to receive his pension, even though he is a convicted felon for torturing people.
Now, can you please describe for us, we're hearing that the torture was characterized as horrendous, but can you describe for us what actually went on that they're considering torture?
Yes, it's certainly torture under the U.N.'s definition or any human rights definition. It started with electric shock using a handmade generator type of device that was used also in Vietnam by U.S. forces to impart electric shocks on people that they were interrogating, that day being the police under John Burge's command, and often John Burge himself. We're talking about a technique called dry submarino. That's placing a plastic bag or another kind of bag over a person's head, cutting off his air supply, punching him in the chest, causing him to lose breath, making him think he is going to suffocate, attacking the people's genitals, and also mock executions, playing Russian roulette with them, placing guns in their mouths, pulling the trigger, all kinds of techniques that you would associate with other countries in other times, South Africa, of course, places in Latin America in the day, that kind of thing. But it hasn't been associated until we've heard about this systemic and documented this systemic police torture here in this country, that it is endemic in this country as well.
You know, hearing this description come out of you and you representing the people that actually went through this horrendous act, it's just amazing to hear. It sounds like something out of a mobster movie. Now, like you said, the systematic torture, it went on for almost 2 decades. How did the city arrive at such a figure for the reparations? Because how do you actually quantify mental, physical, and emotional harm inflicted on human beings?
You don't and you can't. And you have to understand that the men who are being compensated now, the men whose families are being offered these services, these holistic services, they're men that had no legal remedy. Unlike some of the people who were exonerated for their crimes and found innocent, and who have got large multi-million-dollar settlements for the time they spend in the penitentiary, these men do not have any legal recourse. So this is something that they are being afforded because it's right, because the community and the Chicago Torture Justice Memorial Project and other community organizations, both young and old folks fighting for this kind of reparations, made possible. The city didn't do this out of its own largesse, but rather because of the struggle that went on for many years, in fact for many decades, to bring justice to the survivors of police torture and to show the world exactly what has gone on in the name of the Chicago police, in the name of the prior Chicago mayor, Richard Daley, and in the name of the prosecutors who took these confessions based on police torture.
And now, real quickly here, the city spent nearly $20 million in legal fees defending Burge and several of his detectives who participated in these crimes. Does this speak to a greater problem then within the system?
There is certainly a greater problem within the system other than just the torture, and I put quotes around just, of course. We've had a history here in this city and, of course, across the country of police violence, that the assassination of Black Panther leaders here in this city, the systemic torture, the shooting down of unarmed black men and brutalizing black and other people of color, women and men. And this, of course, as we know, is something that is not unique to Chicago, but it is unfortunately something that is being now exposed across the country by videos and by other means. But it's something that has gone on, and it is endemic of the kind of racist police violence that is systematic or systemic within the various police departments of the city of Chicago and this country. And it also brings forth an even larger problem about mass incarceration and the criminal justice or injustice system in this country.
It certainly does. Thank you so much for that. We got to leave that right there. That was Flint Taylor, attorney for several of the victims of the Chicago PD torture case. Thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome.
All right, so you know, what do you think, America? What do you think, Black America? What do you think, Israelites, other camps? You know, we said it here, bruh, a lot, and it's true. It's not what they show you, what these white devils show you, is what they're hiding. You see, this, when I looked at it, you know, from RT, at the time that I looked at it, it had 39 comments. That was it. Thousands of people, millions, talking about the shooting of the black man, unarmed black man in the back by the racist cop, and you have these Edomite devils sitting out there saying that, you know, the cops justified, the cops justified, the cops justified, always trying to prove how the cops justified. And then you got these pigs shooting, you know, the 12-year-old boy in the stomach when, you know, he was playing with a little pop gun, the same type of weapon, not even a weapon, the same type of little toy that you get from a corner store, you know, and how everybody's saying, oh, the cops justify, all these white devils saying the cops justify. Oh, they were just worried. But then you got whites walking around with AK-47s and guns and rifles and hunting rifles, talking about their Second Amendment rights, and you know, nobody gives a shit. You got, you know, Eric Garner getting choked out. You got, you know, Trayvon Martin getting killed. You got this thing going on in Baltimore right now where there's riots because of another brother who gets his, you know, they stomp on his neck basically, and they get his vertebrae or his whatever, 80% of it broken, and he dies behind police custody. And you still got these motherfucking apologists, you know, these white devils out there saying, oh, just wait for all the information to come in, still trying to set the groundwork for the fact or the thought that he's justified, the cop is justified. They're not even naming the cops that did it, just some faceless, you know, the institution of police work, the police force is justified. Just believe these white devils that it's justified. But see, he died in police custody. So you would think a light would go on to people, well, what else is going on in police custody? What else is going on? And I love how, you know, I was going to talk about this Baltimore thing, and you know, and I'll go ahead and include that in this telecast a little bit too. But this telecast is breaking news. It is more important than every one of those single individual incidences of a so-called Negro getting shot unarmed. Because we're dealing with a police force that is torturing black people, so-called Negroes. Torturing them. I ain't talking about getting shot in the back, you know, while you're fleeing or getting choked out. I mean, you know, electrocuting motherfuckers. Taking a nail and a hammer and nailing some shit into their fucking groin. And that shit was corrupt from the police on the beat, the police chief, the mayor, the city official, the, you know, the prosecutor, the judge, the courts. Talk about appeal. Nothing. The city officials in general corrupt as fuck. They spending $20 million to defend the police chief or whoever the fuck that guy was, that Edomite devil. To defend the undefendable. And that ain't on the mainstream media. That ain't blasted in the news. They're showing images of blacks looting and cars burning, you know, in the midst of protests that are peaceful. More protests were peaceful than that which was rioting. But they'll show the little bit of rioting that there is, and they'll blast that everywhere. But full-blown torture in America with the police versus the so-called Negroes, and you don't see that shit on CNN. You don't see that shit anywhere. So you motherfucking dumbass Edomites, you know, the average day poor white trash can walk around the street saying that the black man, he's always in jail. The black man, he always, you know, he a thug. Do you think those motherfucking convictions when a nigga got you strapped up and electrocuting you like you fucking Sylvester Stallone and Rambo, you know, during the Vietnam or some shit? You think that fucking confession is justified? You, bruh? You think that motherfucking confession is justified? Obviously, the motherfucking judge thought so. The DA thought so. These motherfucking same white devil cops that go to your school and try to talk to your children, that go in the community and try to have some kind of fucking outreach, that trying to make themselves look like they're the good guy. And I'm sick and fucking tired, and anybody with eyes to see should be sick and fucking tired of hearing those motherfucking apologists talking about not all cops are bad. Them just some bad apples. The whole fucking system's corrupt. These white devils ain't got no fucking justice in them, and they're doing rhetoricals around, you know, torture of some Abu Ghraib motherfucker in Guantanamo Bay, where waterboarding, is that torture? Is that not torture? Waterboarding with motherfucking Negroes in these not even in prison yet, in fucking holding cells, getting electrocuted, getting bags put over their face. And suffocating, being threatened for suffocation, being punched in the stomach, beat up. Leaders being eliminated, assassinated by cops. But not even so much the leaders being assassinated, because you know that we know about that. Man, how the fuck you think they ended some of those black movements? So that's not even, shouldn't even really be a surprise. But the systematic of torture, motherfucker go into jail because he crossed the street or jaywalked or some shit, and they put him in jail, and all of a sudden now they want him to confess to a full-blown murder charge on some murder that they ain't got solved. But until he's confessed, they're gonna punch him in the stomach. They're gonna slam nails into his nuts. They're gonna fucking fuck waterboarding. They're gonna literally put a bag over his fucking face until he confesses for it, until he gives them some on paper saying he did it. Motherfucker don't even know what the fuck they're asking him to confess for. You in jail, local jail or whatever for a week, 2 weeks of being tortured. How long you gonna hold out, bruh? How long you gonna hold out for guilty of nothing else but being black, so-called black, in America? In America. And they want to talk about executive orders, and they want to talk about FEMA camps. These motherfucking pussy ass Edomite, lion devils, all of them. Every single one of them. While the elephant in the room is that they already began a process of torturing, you know, and getting fake confessions, fake jailment of so-called Negroes in this country, and been doing it. But yet you want to have a conversation about waterboarding and whether or not Bush was justified in doing it. You want to try to defend a system so corrupt that torture, and I don't even talk about no fucking fakety ass waterboarding. Real Rambo shit torture is going on by the police. And if they're doing it, since they're doing it, you know all the other agencies was in it too. And it wasn't just in that city, motherfucker. This shit's going on all around the country. Around the country. You scratch and sniff under the surface and you see this shit is fucking widespread. And you want the fucking president to go out on TV and talk about how, you know, they have justice for this, for this kid. This kid could have been like my son. Motherfucker, if you wasn't the president, your ass got arrested in any of these places, your ass could have been fucking literally tortured. Fuck it being like he could have been Trayvon Martin, could have been my son. Motherfucker, that could have been you. Not that you give a shit. And why the hell this ain't on the news? Why ain't this on social media in terms of, like, you know, alternative news? Because you guys are full of shit that are run by these motherfucking Edomites. You can't trust a damn thing these coons, these Uncle Ruckuses, and these motherfucking white devils have to say. Because the real story, they're hiding it. They're hiding it. And then they want to show you looting and stuff, try to make it seem as if these black people are rioting for no reason. They got good fucking reason to riot. They got good reason. We ain't even talking about the abuses they get in prison. in jail and incarceration, they're getting tortured before they even get in the fucking jail. Forced to confess for crimes they obviously didn't commit. And fuck, even if they did commit, they didn't fucking deserve to get tortured. That should throw it out to begin with. Every single so-called black person, every single so-called Negro in the court system in America should be released, motherfucker. Should be released. Unilateral pardons all the fuck around. And these motherfucking cops, these Edomite motherfucking bastards should be put in jail. Every single one in that precinct, every single one of them. Why? Because they knew this shit was going on. It was a wall of silence. They been having it going on. It's still going on. You trust them motherfuckers to be law and order? They testing the shit on us, dumbass. Next they're coming after the white man. They tested it on us, on the Negroes, on the minorities. We the test tube, but the next one is for you. And people run around talking about the militarization of the police force. When the fuck did the police force turn into the torture brigade? Fuck the fact that they have a fucking shield, a fucking headpiece on, and look like they just came out of Afghanistan. They're fucking doing shit that they didn't even do to the detainees in Guantanamo Bay, bitch. You treating the so-called Negroes in this country worse than you treated the so-called terrorists. And ultimately, they're gonna be doing the same shit to the fucking white man. And you want to have the nerve to say, well, I didn't do nothing to black people. I wasn't a slave master. I don't own slaves. That was over 200 years ago. While your motherfucking Edomite white devils are torturing so-called Negroes to this very day. Legalized, institutionalized, not just institutionalized racism, fucking torture. Wake the fuck up, you Negroes. Only one give a damn about you is your God, the God of Israel. Only one who give a damn about you is him. These white devils are your enemies, been your enemies ever since you came off the slave ships with shackles and chains on your wrists. It ain't changed, it ain't gonna change until the God of Israel comes and kicks them faggoty asses off their seat of power. The judicial system is a fucking joke. Ain't got no righteousness in them, not any one of them. None of them, not one of them. You know? So don't be telling me or awaken Israelites all this shit about how, you know, we're generalizing and how well, now all of them are bad. Motherfucker, they benefit from a system that puts them in power by putting a boot on the back of the so-called Negro's neck. And worse off, they got the nerve to try to use statistics to try to prove their point, when in reality, they're motherfucking torturing so-called Negroes to get confessions, and to put them in jail. The system's corrupt, it's broken. Every single one of those African Americans, so-called African Americans, every one of those so-called Negroes in prison today, beyond a shadow of a doubt, should get a pardon. Every single one of them. Every fucking single one of them. The ones we know about are just the tip of the iceberg, bruh. It's systemic. If they ain't throwing you in jail because they're trying to get some money for their punk ass deficits in these cities, in these states, they're throwing your ass in jail just because they're throwing you in jail just because you're black, but they're throwing you in jail because you think it gets the money. You know, they're throwing you in jail, torturing your ass so that they can get some of their unsolved crimes with a black face on it. Yah is coming. The end is coming soon. At the end of this society, the end of this system. This is Babylon. This is the second Egypt. The motherfucking self-proclaimed white man is Esau, Edomites of scripture. Okay? They're your enemy, been your enemy. So-called Negroes, you are the Jews of scripture, and only the awakened Israelites is bringing forth the truth. All right? The kind of truth that got Yeshua, the Son of the Most High, lynched and hung on a tree by white devils. The kind of truth that got the 12 disciples lynched and hung on trees by these white devils. The kind of truth that got the so-called Negroes in this country during slavery and afterward lynched and hung on trees by these white devils. And the same truth that gets your motherfucking Negroes tortured today in America. And the only truth that's worth saying is the truth that's coming to the awakened children of Israel. These blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that woke up in this truth and is putting it forth onto the earth. It ain't gonna come nowhere else and by no one else. Are you ready, O Israel, for the end of days? Planet Nibiru, polar shifts, gigantic meteorites the size of cities hitting the earth? You better have your Yahshua HaMashiach seatbelt on, because it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Lampshades Ministry is an Israelite ministry from the house of Judah, and we do not accept tithes and offerings of money. The word of God is for free and not for sale, bruh, at any price. I'm your host, priest of the Most High, Lucifer D. Lambew. Join us next time if you're still breathing and one of these worldwide calamities haven't ghosted your ass. This is the Lampshades, current events, end of days. Shalom, bruh.
Wake up, so-called African Americans, Black Americans, let me tell you the truth. Liberty or a noose, the choice of a Jew. You're a Hebrew, brother, you're a Hebrew. Your story don't begin in America, for forever, you were born as a Jew, made a slave in Egypt and all around the world. You're a Hebrew, brother, you're a Hebrew. 400 years in captivity, the facts don't lie. You can bury the truth, but the truth won't die. You can stain it on glass, won't change the facts. That our Lord Jesus Christ is black. You can rewrite the past, that don't really fly. You can remake a movie, you can try and deny. You can paint him white on the cross, can't change the facts. Lord Jesus is black. The greatest deception was turning day to night. If it say black Jesus is why.
Nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cop block. We won't stop. Hebrew nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cop block. We won't stop. God created man in his very own image. What the Father has begun, the Son will finish. The people of God spoke Hebrew, not Yiddish. What the white man destroyed, the Lord will replenish. The people of God has the mark of the Lord, identifying factors that no one can ignore. Feet of bronze, hair of wool, and among the poor, Jesus Christ was a black man waiting at the front door, screaming, let me in. If you do, I will dwell in you. Wash your feet, make your heart brand new. Let me in, I will take away your sin. I will love you like my kin. Don't reject the Hebrew skin. Let me in. The true Hebrews were meant to be a blessing to the nations, but their heritage was erased during slavery, and they were replaced by fake Jews. Deuteronomy 28 tells the story. Nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cop block. We won't stop. Hebrew nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cop block. We won't stop. Yeah, man, you gotta know your Bible, man. Revelations chapter 2, verse 9, and Revelation chapter 3, verse 9, speak of the true Jews. We the true Jews, you the fake nation. You can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cock block. We won't stop. Hebrew nation, you can't stop us. Slavery couldn't break us, so we won't stop. We rise to the top, even though you thought not. We the true Hebrews, though you cock block. We won't stop.